Um, I'm sorry, I'm back. I had some technical difficulty and some other stuff. Sorry, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Sorry for an abrupt meeting. I had to go rush out somewhere real quick, but I'm back. So I was talking about AI. We had ChatGPT 4 come out. We had GPT-4 come out. We had Microsoft announcing an AI integrated system with Microsoft, Microsoft Words, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint, everything done by voice recognition. So now, if you want a report, you just request a report. Hey, I need um, history of Napoleon, French War, Napoleon, and pops it out. I need my resume done and all that done, and I needed bold italics and all that. We done. We give that. So we have all this AI coming in. Chat GPT-4. We have Microsoft. We have AI integrated system in terms of many AI integrated system. Now the question, this is the question I'm gonna ask you is, if we have all these AI systems coming in, don't we think? Do you think? And again, with these all these AI coming in, 80% of these companies don't even understand what the AI is doing. 80%. We have all this AI being bombarded on us. All this AI system, all this. 80% of companies, even 90% of companies don't even know what to do with this AI. 90% of the companies have no clue what to do with AI systems. And it's being bombarded with us. Most of them don't even understand most of them don't even understand what data they have and how that can be used in their business. Health industry currently don't even understand what they just we the system, the algorithm that detected breast cancer 4 years before it even became visible to human eye. They don't even hospitals Most hospitals don't even understand what technology is. So now all this AI is coming in and nobody understands how this works or how how to implement it in businesses. What do you think the next step is to find people with that kind of knowledge of understanding what machine learning is, even in politics currently. Do you know how right now in politics now AI is basically used in politics? I recently saw um, a documentary on YouTube about how, again, this is not new. I can do it. How to influence individuals using big data and AI in politics by looking at patterns. And for instance, if I'm a black man who's educated and certain features I love, maybe I love golfing, I love cars, I love that. The next step is, and they know, okay, either I'm a Republican or Democrat. They say, okay, if I'm in one of that, how can I match with someone who's also educated and also love cars? What's the likelihood that person has the same affiliation in terms of politics I have? And that's how they use data to do pattern recognition for every human being to know, okay, if I can classify all these 250,000 people who are educated and all that and love cars and all that, I classify them. What is the single thread among them I can use to sway them into a Republican or a Democrat? What's one single trend or one single pattern in all of them I can use to sway them to become a Republican, or then I start testing using different ways, ads to say, okay, do this. Maybe they like they like going to PTA for their children. Can I use that to basically sway them to become a Republican or Democrat? That's how data is used in the political arena. Data is that powerful in the political arena. And now It's in the logistics. I've seen it used in logistics, trying to figure out how Amazon trying to figure out how to get your package within that 2 or 3 days, and knowing how to do that in as quick as possible. This is how big data is used. AI. The question is, do you think there, because of all this Chat GBT, Microsoft, there's so many big data jobs out there that nobody can fill it out. It's difficult to find people to fill those jobs out. I know. I can show you my email account. I have 3 offers from companies that pay 175, 205, and I reject them, but they can't still find people to do that. I still get calls now from those companies I rejected to renegotiate. And I'm not. If I want to show it, I'll probably show it and then maybe block out the company name. But I get offers like that. I get offers like this. So the area of even in the area of even law enforcement, do you think they're not going to need consultants in the area of big data, data analytics, and all that to understand what they're doing with their data? Do you think they don't hire those kind of people to understand? Okay, the crime rates, crime scenes. How do they use to control it? Is their systems working? How do they see? I'm gonna say this. What what people teach you in terms of data and all that, they teach you the tools. They don't teach you how to become a good data analyst, data scientist. They teach you the tools. It's like a so basically it's like a carpenter just use carpenter who doesn't have the skill. Again, there's a difference between a skill of a data analyst, a data scientist, and actually just knowing how to use a tool. Most courses around here I've noticed don't teach you the skill. They teach you how to use the tool. They focus on learn Python, learn Excel, um learn all these tools, but they don't teach you the skill. And that's the frightful part. And the companies don't hire you for the tools, they hire you for the skill. You go you go to any company and you see you if you're a consultant, for instance, and you go to a company, are you gonna tell them, hey, I know how to use Python and Excel, okay, that's fine. But I'm not hiring you to use Python and Excel. I'm hiring you to tell me where my bottlenecks in my business are and how that data is going to tell the story of what's going on with my business. Nobody cares if you use Python or you use Excel or you use a jangy language of 2000 or 1985. Nobody cares. The question is, I have data. Can you produce a solution from it? That's all they care. Most people teach you the tools, and that's the messed up part. They teach you, oh, you need to learn SQL. You need to learn this, you need that, but they never teach you, oh, there's before you even jump into using the numbers and all that, you need to validate if the process is working. You need to understand how the process flows. You need to validate if the process is actually true to what you have. You have to look at the data sets and then figure out if that data is actually correct. Collect data. Then you have to look at the cycle of real data, how data works. Then after you do that, then you apply that tool to know, okay, this is what the tool is. This is how it works. In any industry, everybody teaches you the tool, but nobody teaches you the skill. And that's the messed up part. When I go into a place, the first thing I do is not tell anybody, hey, I know how to use Python Excel. No, I don't do all that. I said, okay, where's your process map? You don't have a process map, then how are you collecting data to know where your problem is? Do you know where your problem is? Do you have data that counter your whole process? They teach you again. They teach you tools, Excel. Everybody focuses on that. Excel, Python. That's all I hear. Python, Python. I'm like, no, I'm gonna teach you how to think like a data person, how to look at it and visualize as a data person. Then I teach you the tools. The tools will make it much easier to make your job. That's what the tool is. Make your job 10 times easy. But you have to understand how to think and look at where the problems are and how to identify it, then how to collect data, and then how to analyze that data using the tools. But everybody's just teaching you the tools, and that's messing. And they teach you the tools in 6 weeks, and you learn the tools. You don't even learn it correctly, but you don't even learn how to use the tool in your career path. So this is the thing. We have new systems coming out. AI, GPT-4, all that coming out, rushing out. Everybody's coming out. Hey, we need to learn how to use marketing companies. A lot of marketing companies going to require a lot of data guys, from data analysts to data marketing companies. Oh, it's going to be a huge need of all this. A huge need. I'm not playing. It's going to be a huge need in the area of data analytics, area of big data, AI, data science, machine learning engineer is going to be a huge need, and they're going to pay a buttload of money. Just for people who understand this. And currently, Meta and all that, everybody's talking about. Let's look at the layoffs. Currently, there are a lot of layoffs everybody's talking about, and most of these layoffs are not only focused on tech, but also focused on administrative side. And when I say administrative side, human resources. A lot of human resources being laid off. A lot of people in human resources are feeling the brunt of it right now. But there's a segment in human resources that's thriving, that making money. I mean, segment of human resources that nobody's talking about, that they can't lay off right now. Just a segment that, if you understand it, I mean, I know someone in the human resources, his job is secure. He even have people calling him from other jobs in human resources. And what it is human resource analytics, human resources, machine learning, human resources, data science. Do you know how powerful it is? If you have a human resources background and you learn how data analytics works, do you know how powerful that is? Let's look at recruiting in terms of human resources. Understanding not only where your best candidates come from in terms of data, knowing where your best candidates come from, but also knowing how to divert resources just to target where those best candidates come using data, saying, hey, these 4 or 5 universities produce the best candidates, or these recruiting actions produce the best candidates. We need to put our resources in there. Using data, you prove that. We don't need to go to 50 recruiting outlets. We just need to focus on four and get those best candidates out there. Not only that, improving your hiring process itself. How candidates go from interview to, to basically being hired. Knowing you as a human resources, knowing the metrics that judge that, understanding how that works with numbers, or even retention, understanding how companies can retain best candidates using metrics. What are the metrics that make sure a candidate feels he's basically valued in the company? What metrics can you look into? And that would always be, it will never change. A data centric system in the human resources will always be more valuable than you can think of. And I know for a fact they pay 200K for human resource, data analytics, data engineer, data visualization analyst. They pay that much money for individuals who understand the human resources data. Everybody talks of, hey, AI is taking over human resources, but question is, who is creating those AI? Who is feeding those data to the AI? They're not human resources folks. They're human resources folks with the knowledge of data analytics, and they continuously have jobs and continuously have money. It makes 200, 175, 150 to 200K. So when everybody's talking about yes, yeah, there's a lot of layoffs. The administrative side is being laid off. We're seeing a lot of people, but nobody's talking about the pocket of the human resources side. When everybody say, "Hey, automation is going to take up," well, who's going to feed the data to the algorithm itself? Who needs to understand the data in order to feed that data? Who needs to say, "Okay, these are the features that are more important in human resources that we need to feed to the algorithm to make that decision." It's a human resource analyst. They have to understand what data you have. They have to understand what patterns you have. This is the power of data in terms of human resources. I'm, I've seen human resource data that tell the story of how the hiring process out, retention process, tell you attrition rate, tell you everything. So when you go in and say, hey, the human resource side is being automated, fine. But the next question I'll tell you is, who's feeding the data to that algorithm or that AI? It's a human being that comes in, looks at the data, sees the patterns, cleans the data, then feeds that data to the AI. And then they pay that individual that huge amount of money. But again, as I said, you need to understand the scale of the data, of the human data analytics, not the tools. Focus less on the tools and focus on the skill itself. I go to interviews and all that, and most of the time nobody focuses on the skill, the tools. They focus on how do you make decisions with data. What are your paths in order to understand how this data is going to affect the company? How are you going to use this data to improve my company, improve my sales, improve my profitability, reduce my waste? How are you going to use that data to do it? Are you going to say, oh, I'm going to use Excel to do that? Okay. Or I'm going to use Python. How is Python going to help me reduce my waste, increase my profitability, increase my sales? Explain. How is Python going to do that? People focus on that. How is Python going to increase my profitability, increase sales, and reduce waste? Even I'm trying to understand how is Python going to do that. Again, Python is a tool. Excel is a tool. All those are tools. If you don't know how to look at and understand how to effectively utilize that tool to make a decision, you don't have a skill itself in data. You just have the ability to utilize a tool. So what I'm saying is this: one, human resources, it's going to be huge. It's still huge. Area of human resource analytics, it's going to grow rapidly. Area of human resources machine learning, rapid. It's going to be big. There's non-stop. You want to make 5 to 10 to 15K, go into human, and you're currently in human resources, or you want to go into human resources, I'll tell you to learn human resources, data analytics, and human resources machine learning. If you learn machine learning, you can be a consultant making 300 to 400K. If you learn human resource analytics, you can learn 150 to 200K. But start with human resource analytics. Understand how data works. And again, I always say this. Xavier. I wanted to answer your question in terms of what you need to learn. In terms of, these are the simple things. Don't focus on the tools too much. Learn some of the tools, but learn how to look at and identify a process. Like right now, I'll tell you, look into Ishikawa diagram. The Ishikawa diagram. Look at how process flow map works. Look at how data collection works. Look at basic statistics. Basic. I'm not saying go advanced. Start with basic statistics. Basics. Mean, median, mode, standard deviation. Basics. Basics. Not advanced. The basics. Mean, median, mode can tell you more stories about a company than you can ever know. Mean, median, mode can tell you more story range and tell you more stories for data for a company than you can ever know. Mean, median, mode, and range can tell you more stories than you can know for a company. So understanding basic statistics, Mr. Xavier, basics, I don't say advanced, basic statistics, and then from there you can then look into Python and all that. But first thing is understand basic statistics and understand what, for instance, your domain. If you want to go to human resources, understand what are the attributes in human resources they look at to judge again retention, to judge hiring, all that. What are the key metrics or key things that makes human resources tick? If you look at logistics, what are the main things that make logistics work? What are the factors that make, again, if I'm going to Amazon and I look at Amazon, I say, okay, Amazon says I need to know how to increase my shipment time, reduce my shipment waste, and increase productivity. So do I go there and say, I learned Python, I can do it? No, you have to look at the whole process and ask questions. How does this connect to this? How does the shipping crate? How does shipping from, so we're shipping from the Amazon location to your final destination, a human house or somewhere. So the question is, how does that package go from that location to its final destination? What steps does it require? Again, what steps do you require for that to go in detail? So it goes from when it's being packaged. How long does that take being packaged, being sorted? How long does that take? See, those are the steps you start looking. What time? Again, when I said average, I said mean medium mode. The average time to take for that package to be shipped from that time to that time. Just looking at the average time, that can tell you more than you can ever know. And I said basic statistics. Mean medium mode looks at average. So you don't need to be so in depth in terms of understanding statistics and all that and killing yourself and understanding all the tools. Nah, nobody cares about the tools that much. Really, just understanding how to look at the whole process and then make a decision. Okay, this is how the process works. These are the things I need in terms of the average times and all that. Okay, okay, okay. Where in this can I see the waste? Okay, this is where. Then you see all the. Then you say, okay, this is how it works. This is how the process works. Now I can use my Python and then Excel to then look at and say, okay, or even SQL to query out the numbers. Look at Python to look at the numbers, create averages. Look at them to see where the weight. This is the skill of a data analyst and a data scientist. It's a skill in human resources too. If I'm going to get hired into Amazon as a human resources fellow, and I'm a human resources person, I'm looking at somebody who needs to get hired. My goal is to look at the average time the individual gets from interview to get to the offer letter. What is the average time? Remember, average. I said average time. I'm not using hard statistics. I'm using basic statistics. So if you want to make 5 to 10K in human resources, you can make that easy. If you want to make 200, 300, 400K, you can make that easy. Understanding the skill of data analytics and basic tools. You don't need to be an expert. So this is what I want to. I'm not going to go into a huge rant. If you want to, in anything you want to do, human resources, logistics, all that, please don't overload your, don't OD yourself on tools. Don't don't emphasize too much on tools, because again, if you continue, tools change every year, every month. There are new tools that come out every month. So if you learn one tool tomorrow, another tool comes out. Then what? You're gonna continue running that whole cycle and learning new tools all around. Don't focus on learning tools. Learn how to look and see data as it is. Understand how the process works, how the domain works. Then learn statistics, basics. Again, the basic statistics, that's what I'm going to tell you. Learn the basics. Mean, median, mode, range, standard deviation, basics. Then go from there. You don't need to know everything. Nobody cares if you know Python at all. What they care is, can you use my data to get tell me where my problems are, and bottlenecks are, and where my profitability is. So we have issues everywhere from banking. I've mentioned banking. We have huge banking issues. That again, that shouldn't be a huge effect on you. We have new AI coming out. GPT-4, Microsoft. We have new AI coming out every month. And that new AI system means new jobs, because companies are trying to adopt this AI, but they don't even understand what data they even have in order to adopt this AI. So they need individuals like you and I who have data skills to understand what data they have to actually apply all this AI to the company. Most companies are rushing in, oh, I want to implement AI in my system. But how can you implement AI? You don't even know what your data is. You don't even know what patterns your data is. Do you even know what your data is telling you? Do you even have a data stream to collect your data? Do you have a database system? Do you have a centralized database system that collects your data to make sense of your data? Most companies don't know. Most companies just want to apply AI, but they don't understand what AI is. They have, oh, Chat GPT-4 is coming out, all this is coming out. Everybody's excited. It's going to make my company profit grow big and all that. Yeah, it will, but you have to understand what your data is. You have to hire data professionals to do this. Hospitals. Go look at hospitals looking for data analysts, looking for machine learning engineers. Hospitals are hiring rapidly for data engineers, data analysts, and all that, because they need them, because they don't understand what data they have. A lot of hospitals are hiring. A lot of insurance companies, a lot are hiring data folks to understand how can we increase, how can we make people who want to sign claims for accidents and all that, how can we use that data to, or how can we use that data to predict the risk of individuals? Yes, they have quants, they have a lot of people, but now they're hiring data scientists. Not only using they're using deep learning, object detection, using pictures to make claims. You take a picture and they send it to an algorithm, and an algorithm looks at it and assesses and says, hey, based on all this damage, year of your car and all that, and other variables, we think your claim of your car is going to be this, an instantaneous claim, quickly. Look at the police force. They were talking about instigating a robot and all that. But the robot, again, I'm going to talk in detail, but that robot is basically it's a drone, a controlled drone system. It cannot be a fully AI system. It can't. There are too many variables to judge it. So this is just a quick one. Um, I just want to talk about what's going on in terms of AI, big data, and all that. And what I'm saying is this: if you want to go into the area of data, this is the best time. If you want to do it in human resources, you want to do it, this is the best time because they're cranking out all these AI systems. But companies don't know, they don't have a clue how to implement it. They don't even have a clue how to implement it or even have a clue on what they need to implement or what data they need. So if you want to learn this is the best time to learn it. And again, this is the most profitable time to learn this. And it's going to be profitable for decades. It's really profitable. So again, this is my quick rant and quick talk on how human resources, AI, and all that. It's going to basically, even in the banking sector right now, a lot of AI is being implemented. So what am I saying? Start looking into the data field. Yes, sales is great. Even in sales, they you need data in there. So start looking at it and going from there. Start looking in sales. Even sales, you need to understand the data on what you're selling. You need to, before even the head, you need to understand what the market is, how the economy is. Then, then selling a product based on the data itself. Sales, yeah, sales is communication. But what are you communicating? Sales tech is what are you communicating? You're not just communicating your whole thoughts. You're communicating based on the data you have. So understanding data gives you even an edge in sales. So what am I saying? Data is key. Everybody knows every company, they know how powerful data is. So you as an individual need to understand how to utilize that data in any field you go into. Sales, human resources, logistics, hospitality, even the hospitality needs you need to understand data. Do you know how many hospitality you requires data to understand, okay, you have 6 hotels here. What's the average amount of average age that people average amount of people and that the gender and all that that will basically come to my hotel. Where do I need to where do I need to advertise and focus on? What age group? Basically, where are my core customers are as in the hospitality? Where do I need to advertise? Where can I get the big chunk of my customers? Where do they stay? This is data in the hospitality. It's big. Classifying where your customers are, age, gender, all that. Then okay, this is my customer. This is my targeted customer. Based on the information you provide. This is my average customer, this is their age and all that. How do I advertise to them so they can continue being my customer? This is the hospitality. So what am I saying? Data is big. We all need to get into that field. Learn, learn, learn. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.